All right, welcome to the 4-Year Speculation Zoomcast. Here we are. We're ready to do Oscar predictions. Oh no. With me is Rachel, Erik,
Hi.
Cesco,
Hello.
Matt,
Hey everyone.
Rob,
Peace.
and John.
Hi.
We have 23 categories to get to, and we can't slow down. So best visual effects.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Erik, what are you predicting for visual effects?
Tenant.
Cesco.
Tenet.
Glenn Close is going to win 26 Oscars on Sunday.
Rachel, what are you predicting?
Tenet.
Rob,
Tenet.
Matt,
Tenet.
John.
I'm gonna say Tenet because I think it's the only thing they've probably seen.
Yeah, I'm going with Tenet. I know Midnight Sky was one that people were talking about before, but Tenet's the biggest movie of the bunch, I guess.
Yeah.
It got BAFTA. It has the production design nomination.
Right.
Even though Midnight Sky has the most visual effects, it's that kind of movie. But I don't know. Sole nomination.
Would they do a FU Chris Nolan for his histrionics about? Would that be a little payback, or do you think Tenet's pretty much?
Well, it's entirely possible because they didn't put it in the Academy,
the portal
online screener.
Mm-hmm.
So he just was kind of such a little brat about it.
Yeah. Sometimes these
if it loses, it's totally because of that, right?
Right.
It is entirely because of that.
Yeah. So we'll know.
Also because there are less visual effects in that movie than in everything else.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to best sound. Let's start with Cesco. What are you predicting for sound?
Sound of Metal.
John?
Yeah, Sound of Metal.
Matt?
Sound of Metal.
Rob?
Sound of Metal.
Rachel?
Sound of Metal.
Erik?
Sound of Metal, but I think it's closer than people think.
Yeah, I'm going with Sound of Metal too. What do you think would be second?
I think Soul is actually a really secret spoiler here. It won its categories at Cinema Audio Society and Motion Picture Sound Editors. And I was just writing my sound prediction piece right before I jumped on here because it's going up tomorrow. It's the first animated film to get a sound nomination in 10 years. And we haven't had a winner here since The Incredibles in 2004. But that was sound editing.
Sound editing, right?
So I think it's closer than people think. It is a music-driven film, so the sound mixing is an absolutely crucial part of it. It's obviously winning its other categories, and it got BAFTA nominated in sound, so it's there. It is right there.
Point.
So we all agree that it's Sound of Metal, so we can move on now to live action short film, which I think this is one where we might not be agreeing with because who knows? Rob, why don't you throw out your first prediction here?
I'm going with, it's not the best, but I think it's going to be the one that probably is the most seen, is Two Distant Strangers.
Matt, what about you?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, for the same reason, Two Distant Strangers. I really did no research on the short film categories, and that's the one that I recognized first, so I just went with it.
Cesco?
Strangers as well, but I heard that not everybody's crazy about it. It's a little problematic, so we'll see.
John?
Sorry, my dog's barking. I'm gonna say The Letter Room, just because I think it would be cool if someone named Elvira won an Oscar. I know nothing about this category, so I'll just say The Letter Room.
Rachel?
Distant Stranger sounds good to me. I don't know anything.
Very relevant right now.
Erik, what about you?
I've seen them all, and I'm actually going with Feeling Through over Two Distant Strangers. I think it'll be very close. Two Distant Strangers makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
as an obvious most seen film. And that happens all the time where the most seen film just gets the win.
Mhm.
But I think there is an empathy level in feeling through that's missing from some of the other ones, certainly from Two Distant Strangers.
Well, it would certainly go with the Sound of Metal theme of the hearing impaired. So
Yes,
And
it would.
and I enjoyed that quite immensely, actually.
I liked it too,
yeah.
although my favorite of the shorts was White Eye. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I heard that was good, and I tried to find it without having to pay for it. So being the cheap ass that I am, I figured it's probably not going to win anyway. So
I don't think it is. I think I mean I don't think it's a totally open race, but the present won BAFTA.
That's the one I'm predicting.
Oh, that was. Oh, I really like that one too.
That was, they like Israeli-Palestinian conflict films here. They have one before, so it's in. Those are like the top three.
Right, but there was a sweetness about that one that I liked. But I think the Two Distant Strangers. I think that seems to be the one, at least in my opinion.
It's the safer bet.
Yeah.
Than mine.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so we can move on to animated short, and we'll start with Rachel.
Oh, I'm not going first.
We'll start with Erik.
I had Burrow before I saw everything, and then I switched to If Anything Happens, I Love You.
Matt,
Burrow.
John,
If Anything Happens, I Love You.
Rob,
If Anything Happens, I Love You. Same thing. I've only seen the two, and that was the better one.
Cesco,
Opera.
Oh, I want to see that.
I wish.
I hear that's great.
It is.
It's the best one. So
Yeah, I heard it's amazing.
Rachel,
I'm saying if anything happens, I love you because I went with what the majority said.
There you go.
that's the one I'm predicting because it's also executive produced by Laura Dern, and we have to mention Laura Dern in every episode.
That's
That's exactly right.
And
so
we'll say something
there's a
nice
little
about
heft
that.
behind it.
Rob, are you drinking that Empress gin, that purple gin?
Yes, I am.
Fuck yes, that shit is good.
I was going to send you a note saying, am I going to be the only one that's going to be happy houring it?
Oh no, I am too. That is good stuff.
It is good.
No, the Laura Dern thing I think is a clincher. She will straight up be making spaghetti meals for people. It's like a mother. She is not going to forget. She tweets like 2 times a year, and the only time she has been to like retweet this film.
Yeah.
So.
Moving on to animated feature film. Matt, what's your prediction here?
Soul.
Cesco,
Soul.
John,
I'm gonna say Soul. I was between Wolfwalkers and Soul, but this may sound dumb, but I'm like, I just feel like so many more people will have watched Soul, so I'll go with that.
Yeah, Erik.
Yeah, I'm writing my piece for animated feature and going through everything, and it's the more I write, the more depressing it gets because it's going to be such a landslide for Soul.
Rachel
Soul, for sure.
and Rob.
Yeah, I'm going out on a limb and saying Soul.
Yeah, that's an easy one, and I think I know that there's a lot of people who are really wishing for Wolfwalkers, but like Soul won't be a bad winner. Like
No, not at all.
No.
No, absolutely. It's very good. Yeah.
It's their first black-led animated film ever.
Yeah.
It hasn't lost anything anywhere.
Right. Yeah, it's good.
All right, so now we can move on to documentary short subject.
Ooh,
Cesco,
what
why
did I
don't you
pick?
start us off here?
I am torn between Latasha and Concerto. I'm gonna go with Concerto.
Rob,
I'm torn between Colette and Latasha. I'm gonna go with Latasha.
Matt,
Latasha.
Erik,
I'm going with Concerto.
Mm.
His conversation.
John,
I'm going with the love song for Latasha. It's the one
Rachel.
I've seen the most about and read the most about.
Tasha, because majority rules.
Yeah, I'm going with that one too. Although I'm a Concerto as a Conversation is the other one that I was toying with because I don't know how Ava pushing it's going to be enough though.
I
Yeah,
like Concerto, but I really like Colette. I really like that a lot.
And that's
It's the
one that I've
shortest.
heard about.
Yeah, Concerto is the shortest, right?
Yep, like
Yeah.
12 minutes.
Yeah, you blink and it's over. It's good.
It's also the least like not messy, but like dramatic, political, and heavy.
No, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah,
So
but I liked Latasha how they put it together, and it wasn't exploited. You know, they didn't show the video and all that stuff, and they just did.
Yeah.
I thought it was very well done, and it got the point across without having to have the, ugh.
and also on Netflix.
And Netflix, that helps.
Who could reasonably win all three of these shorts?
Oh, totally.
Easily, actually.
I think our majority is predicting all of the ones that they are doing. So yeah, definitely gonna happen. Also could win the next category, documentary feature.
Mm.
Matt, what are
Sorry.
you predicting here?
My octopus teacher.
Cesco,
Octopus.
Erik,
Ursula. I mean, my octopus teacher.
Rachel,
I'm like, which one is that?
Octopus.
Rob,
Yeah, an octopus.
John.
It's funny, before they changed the way they vote for a documentary, I would have picked something like Time.
Mm.
But now I'm picking Octopus Teacher because I think, again, I think everyone's seen it, and it historically was not the type of movie that would win there, but now I think it will be.
Yeah, I think it's the crowd favorite. Although Time's great, and I would love Collective, but
I love
Oc-
Collect.
I thought that would be my
I would
pick.
love Collective, yeah.
Yeah, that's my pick, but I think it's going to be the crowd pleaser, and I think that's Octopus. That's the one that's most talked about.
The rise of this movie has been one of the most fascinating things of this entire season because no one saw it coming.
Yep.
Least of all Netflix.
Yeah, good marketing.
Well, that's
Yeah,
because
great point.
octopi are camouflaged. They blend into the seafloor.
John. Wow.
Oh,
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
You're all my friends,
oh,
especially.
and yes, thank you, Guy Lodge, for that Ursula meme. Thank you. That was,
Yeah, that was pretty great.
I needed it.
Okay, so we can move on to another possible Netflix winner, Best Production Design. John, why don't you start us off?
Well, I think it's between Ma Rainey's and Mank. I'm gonna say Mank because I just have the suspicion that Mank's gonna win a few of the tech categories, and then there's gonna be like this flurry of like Oscar twinks whose first Oscar memory was watching Brie Larson win, be like, oh, I think Mank's gonna sweep. So I think it's gonna be like I think there's gonna be one or two. I think it also might win for cinematography, but I'm gonna go with Mank. I could be wrong.
Cesco,
This is going to be Mank's only Oscar.
Rachel,
I have Mank here as well.
Rob,
Mank.
Erik.
It'll be the new Heaven Can Wait.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say the same thing. It is so far out in front as the front runner. It's, I mean, the distance between 1 and 2 here is enormous. And yes, if it is the only win from Mank, which I think some people are predicting, it'll be the first time since 1978 that a Best Picture nominee's only win was production design.
Richard Silbert, if I remember correctly.
Matt, do
Damn
you
it.
agree?
Yeah,
King
Mank.
Mank.
Yeah, Mank. Yeah. That's an
It hasn't
easy
lost
one.
anything.
No, it hasn't. So now we can move on to costume design. And Matt, why don't you start us off with this one?
Ma Rainey.
Rachel,
Ma Rainey.
Cesco,
Emma, just because it's Alexandra Byrne.
Erik,
Ma Rainey, because it's Anne Roth.
John,
Yeah, I was actually funny. I was going to say Ma Rainey because of Anne Roth. Yeah.
Rob,
Ma Rainey, but I just watched Emma last night, and I would give it to that. But I think Ma Rainey's winning.
definitely Ma Rainey, but I wish there was a way for Emma to win something, but I don't see it happening. So
Yeah. 89-year-old Anne Roth.
Drag her.
He hasn't been anywhere, so it'll be really.
So was her last Oscar for English Patient? Was that the last
her
time?
only Oscar?
That's her only one. Okay.
Yeah. But she'll be 3 months shy of James Ivory's the oldest winner ever.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that.
So she'll be the oldest female winner. So
she will be the oldest female winner
until June Squibb wins next year.
And make it happen
for something. I don't know what.
Anything. I hope just make it happen.
Palm Springs 2.
All right, moving on to makeup and hairstyling. Rob, why don't you start us off?
Ma Rainey.
Erik,
Ma Rainey.
Cesco,
Yeah, Ma Rainey.
Matt,
Same Ma Rainey.
John.
Yeah, I think the historical factor definitely helps, and it's really amazingly well done. So Ma Rainey.
Rachel.
Ma Rainey, a really strong below the line film for something that didn't get picture or writing.
Like we're going to see, on top of the dozen records and stats that are going to get broken, that's going to be one of them this year.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy.
It's so strong. It kind of defies logic, but
yeah,
maybe it's not that strong.
It should have gotten in Best Picture. It's so crazy that it hasn't.
But it didn't.
You were such a fan of that film, right, Cesco?
I didn't like it, but I mean, it's hard to argue that they didn't love the craft aspect of it, but they didn't like it enough to give it a Best Picture nomination. I think that does say something.
Or a screenplay.
The adapted
screenplay
nomination was really a slap in the face. I felt like, especially like Borat again.
I can't even talk about that.
All right. Well, original score. John, why don't you start us off?
Oh boy.
I feel like this is enough where like we're all picking the same thing, right?
I think so.
Are we? I mean, I want it to be Minari. But which
you can do it.
Good. Don't do me first.
I'll go first because I didn't go first on the show.
Rachel, go ahead.
Soul.
Is anyone disagreeing with Soul?
No, it hasn't missed a beat, and it's not going to miss this one.
So, John, do you agree with that, or are you still?
Sure, let's go with that. Yeah.
Minari I was thinking a good winner.
Minari would be a great winner, but this is Soul is.
We bullied John. Yay.
Well, I'm overthinking it. Like, is there going to be a Trent Reznor Atticus Ross split? Like,
no,
but
hasn't happened yet. So.
So just ignore me. I overthink.
It should be Minari though. Without question.
Yeah. All right. An actual like fight. Best original song.
I can't make a choice.
This is the second hardest category.
Yep.
I'll go first. I'm going with Speak Now just because of Leslie Odom. That's my only rationale. I have no emotional investment in any of these songs, any of these 12-time loser composers. Sorry. That was for Erik. I'm just messing with you, buddy. Poor Diane.
I
Wah,
love her.
wah, wah. Anyway, that's my pick. And that's just more of just no rhyme or reason. Just
So he'd just be an E short of the EGOT then, right?
Yeah, and he got really close, I think, last Emmys.
I think he'll break the.
Yeah, he got pretty close, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm going with that one. I'll probably be wrong, but I'm going with that.
Matt, what about you?
Life Ahead. Let's put Diane Warren out of her misery.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Cesco?
As much as I want Laura Pausini to have an Oscar, EOC is just the musical equivalent of a colonic. It's terrible. And Husavik is probably one of the greatest songs ever nominated for an Oscar. So I have to go with, I have to imagine that if people take the time to listen to these, and also like the fact that the Eurovision movie is so widely available, they will vote for Husavik. So it has to be Husavik.
And
John?
it actually plays a role in the actual movie. It's not just
Yeah.
It's the only song that actually has some
Only
diegetic
one.
purpose. Yeah.
I think, yeah, I was gonna say Husavik because one, I think it's the most seen movie. I think 10 times as many of the people voting have seen Eurovision than they have The Life Ahead. I don't see this like huge like outcry that Diane Warren is overdue. Like I don't think she has like the endearing like fan base like a Susan Lucci did. You know, like I mean, it's amazing that she's had 12 nominations, but I just don't imagine a little scene foreign language song that's not good is gonna beat a song that's like deeply central to a movie about songs, and it also is kind of head and shoulders better than everything else. So maybe she'll win, but I'm saying Husavik.
Rachel?
I'll say Husavik. I mean, everything that you guys are saying is true. I mean, Life Ahead was weak. Like, it didn't even get Sophia in. I don't know if she's gonna do it. I don't know if she'll ever do it, honestly.
I think the problem is you guys are thinking logical in terms of the Academy, and most of the times their songs are terrible. And when was the last original song to win? And that was the only category it was. The film was only nominated for original song, and it won
once, and then Rocket Man last year.
Oh, right. Okay,
That was different.
that was totally different.
But also,
I mean,
like, overdue narratives.
I mean, you
are
got
a
Elton
lot-
John and then and that other song, the one song that was pretty popular, and that was I don't know about the Husavik. I mean, I like the song and it would totally deserve it, but I mean, I hope maybe I'm wrong. I don't know why I think it's going to be a song from one of the films that have multiple nominations.
I mean, I can see that too. Leslie Odom's also like extremely popular right now.
Mhm.
He also has the acting nomination right now.
The only, and Eric, I think you mentioned this in the other podcast that you did, of like thematically, those other three are all very similar, and there's not a huge differentiation in them. My favorite was Fight for You from Judas and the Black Messiah of those three, but they're all four, even IOC, or I'm sorry, I'm not saying that right.
OC.
EOC.
Like even that sounds, I don't know, like it's just kind of it's hard for either any of those four to stand out to my ear, and Husavik's the one that stands out. So,
Eric, what are you predicting?
So funny story. I did my final predictions for original song last week. I had EOC as the winner, which I think I was a little bit biased in. You can only get so many texts from Diane Warren like a day and not be like, okay, I need to like think about this on my own. But in the last week, Leslie Odom Jr. has been presenting at every single fucking guild that has had a show. He performed at the BAFTAs, a group that doesn't even have an original song category. So I switched over to Speak Now as the most likely because he's been the most seen and he is the most well known. Obviously, as we know, names do not show up on the ballots. So if you don't know that Diane Warren wrote this song, you don't know.
Mhm.
Non-English language songs winning is extremely rare. Last time was Motorcycle Diaries. You have to have a passion for it to be able for it to really, really win. And there's actually not a lot of passion for any of these songs. They've all kind of spread out a little bit. Speak Now won Critics' Choice, and EOC won Golden Globe, and then composers and lyricists and Hollywood Music and Me. Everybody went just like a little bit different, and everyone has just a couple of things here and there. There is no front runner. There's nothing that's pushing one thing ahead. And I think this is why this category is so much like Best Actress, in that precursors and all that stuff means nothing, and narrative is going to push this a little bit ahead. And the narrative for this isn't Diane Warren. The narrative is the visibility of Leslie Odom Jr. Even if Husavik is by far, without question, the best song nominated, and I agree with Cesco, one of the best ever. I listen to this song all the time, just outside of ever wanting to watch the movie again. I listen to the remix. It's a fucking great song. It's a passionate song. It'll give you goosebumps. And the performance is going to be really, really, really fun. In fact, I think the way that they're setting up the performances for this, I think, is brilliant, and I'm really excited for it.
The one thing I'll say to what you said, Erik, is that Jessie Buckley also performed at the BAFTAs, and her Mary Steenburgen song did not get nominated last year.
I'm sorry, who's that?
So I don't know if that means as much as you think it does.
Yeah.
Academy Award winner Mary Steenburgen.
Thank you. Put some respect on her name.
Yes.
But I if one of those other three win out, Speak Now would probably be the one that wins. You're right.
It's weird though, but isn't it it weird that those all sort of feel like the same song?
Yeah.
They're
Even
so
kind of are.
generic.
Right, and they're not going to win because of the song. They're going to win but you're right about the ballot thing that doesn't list the so it's the voter.
Odom Jr. is not going to be on the ballot.
I was right.
So,
No, but One Night in Miami will be.
Right, but what I'm saying is it's the voter who's really paying attention knows that Odom is behind that song. That's
exactly
right.
And not only does he sing it, but he wrote it, which is what gets you the
right.
Yeah, like Lady Gaga.
Right.
He was the first. He was the first to win in the same year of being nominated for acting in the same film,
Right.
and then he should be the second.
Yep.
So 3 of us are predicting Speak Now. 3 of us are predicting Husavik, and that means Matt's gonna win because he's predicting Diane Warren.
I love it.
Erik, did Diane Warren block you now? You just blocked on
No. Honestly, her sense of humor about this is really great. It's really funny. But we've talked about it a few times. She's like, what do I have to do to win? And I'm like, girl,
write a good song.
Write a good song.
Right. No, I think she needs to
write a song for something that's like going to get more than just you.
No, how about writing for Disney or something? Can she hop on some Disney movie song? Because
she's got something coming up, not the Joe Bell, Mark Wahlberg bullshit, but she has something else coming up.
Is it Disney?
It's something.
Okay.
Okay, so now we can move on to the national feature film.
Oh yeah.
Is there anyone not predicting another round?
Okay.
I'm picking.
There's that.
Is everybody picking another round?
I have to assume so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it got in for Best Director.
Yep.
Yeah.
It sure did.
It's got one of the best scenes of the year.
If you
see that got him the nomination. Yeah.
God, Mads Mikkelsen must have been right there.
Yeah.
For Best Actor.
Right there.
He was right.
I would have swapped him with Gary Oldman in a heartbeat.
It wouldn't have taken that long.
Yeah.
What are you saying,
Oh
Eric?
God, he's so
I
good.
have only 4 movies left to watch, and that's one of them. Shocker.
You have
That's pretty
Hulu, right?
good.
It's
Although,
it's
I think we-
streaming for free.
But I've
Yeah.
got time though. I've got plenty of time.
Oh,
I think we might have said it before, but if we were in the era of only the branch voting, Hovada Saida would have won.
Right.
that's the one I want to win.
Easily.
Or collective, I think. Yeah.
I mean, in a perfect
still
world,
think
Collective
Coladas
would
would
win
win.
documentary, and Quavity would win international feature. But
I would be very happy with that.
that would be like perfect. But I would not. I'd be fine with. I'm okay with another round winning because
I am too. I love it.
I like that a lot.
Again, it speaks to the middle-aged alcoholic in me, so
Oh.
I love it.
All right, so we can move on
Cheers
to
to that.
photography, which I'm assuming, despite what happened at the ASC, that are we all still predicting Nomadland?
Yes.
John's not.
Yes.
I'm not. I'm going to predict cinematography. I'm sorry. I'm going to predict cinematography wins.
You win.
Yay.
Cinematography will win.
Is winning.
I'm gonna go with Mank just because. Again, I feel like it will overperform, which is 2, in Below the Line, and it's like old Hollywood black and white. So I just feel like that's a honey trap for voters sometimes. But yeah, otherwise I'm probably wrong. But that's where my gut is taking me.
No, you never know.
You never know.
Anyone else not predicting Nomadland?
I have Eric's shirt for this category.
All right, we can move on to best film editing. This one's a tight one.
I got to drop off now. I'm sorry, everyone. It's early, but thank you so much. I can't wait to watch the rest of this and see what everyone says.
All right, we'll see ya.
John.
You're my favorites.
man.
Bye.
So film editing, Rob, what do you think?
God, I struggled with this one, but I'm gonna go with what did I put? I put Sound of Metal.
Okay, Cesco,
Yep. Sound of Metal.
Matt.
I have Nomadland. I was going back and forth, and I just feel like voters are going to be lazy and go with the Best Picture frontrunner. But now I also realize that I have Chloe Zhao winning 4 Oscars on Sunday, which I don't think is realistic, but it would be great if it happened.
Yeah, it would.
We have not had a sweep in such a long time either, so that would be
Yeah.
cool to just see something sweep through.
Yeah.
It's been so divided up.
So are you sticking with Nomadland?
Yeah.
Rachel?
Good for you. I like it.
I have Sound of Metal.
Eric?
Did I do that today? I don't even know what day it is. Yeah, I did my film editing predictions today, and I did go with Sound of Metal, even with Trials, Ace win. And I think it's going to be very close. I think it's very close between those 2 films. And Trial winning here it could be a sign. It would be a strange film to be
Impending doom. Yeah.
to only win editing. It doesn't jive with any of the things that have only won film editing, except for Pride of the Yankees from 1942. So, because it didn't
Pride
get
of
a
the
sound.
Yankees is the last Best Picture nominee to
It's the
win
only.
editing.
It's the only
Okay.
film ever.
Yeah, because there's been like films that have won editing, and they weren't nominated for Best Picture. Like
1,
Dragon
2,
Tattoo
3, 4, 5, 6, 7 films have won film editing as
Bullet.
their win.
The very first editing award went to
Yes.
That's good.
Well, I mean,
Right.
the first few years of the Oscars are so freaking weird anyway.
yeah.
But I mean, yeah. So the last was Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but it also had the sound.
It had some sound.
nomination, and obviously actress. So it.
I mean, Trial is
I know this year.
tempting.
It is really tempting because
It's really
I know
tempting.
this year is going to be weird in a lot of ways, but you have to figure out when it's going to be weird. And a trial win here as its only win is pretty weird.
Right. And it's not like a Ford versus Ferrari where that didn't have a director nomination in it, but it ended up taking a sound and the sound editing award plus. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's closer
it's-
to that than Whiplash, even though, I mean,
well,
people love
Whiplash didn't have
Hmm.
it. You know, it was funny because I always kind of correlate that director and editing kind of like they're kind of the, but yeah, so Whiplash ended up getting the editing over what I thought was going to be end up.
I want to go with Matt though and say No Man's Land because I want Chloe Zhao to have 4 Oscars and I want the film to sweep.
Well, I'm predicting Nomadland too. So
Wow. Okay. I just think that
it could happen.
it totally
Yeah.
could happen, but I don't see the editing is, you know, they've been so well, unless they break that trend of this flashy editing, edited film, such as, so we had Ford versus Ferrari, and then before that was Bohemian Rhapsody, and then
what movie was that?
what's that?
I don't recall.
So funny that no movie won this
No.
award 2 years ago. They just
I know.
Bohemian? Is that?
Well, Sound of Metal is not a flashy film in terms of editing either.
So the guy that edited Bohemian actually went to my high school. He was a couple of grades behind me. I found out. Anyway, go on. And the guy that wrote The Kite Runner also went to my high school. Anyway, I totally digress. Anyway, I'm going with Sound of Metal.
I like the film editing sound connection. I feel comfortable about that. Trial didn't get in sound.
Right.
So I feel pretty good about it. And I really also want Trial to get a big old donut. So
right. But that it's going to be an interesting evening if it ends up winning a few of those tech awards. Then that'll be strange. Anyway,
it only has one to win.
Right.
If it's screenplay, if it wins that, then shit
Right.
gone upside down.
Oh God.
Well, we're gonna start with adapted screenplay, and
So we're ready for the big 8 now.
Yep.
I'll change my costume.
Oh my!
where did you get that?
Redbubble.
Yes, Redbubble.
Everybody
Oh.
who's going to my dad's, it's just the 5 of us.
Okay,
who are
can you
already
show that again,
vaccinated. So
please?
we don't actually have to wear masks or anything. But
Sure.
since I'm not doing a theme, I just thought it would be funny.
Can I see that again? Oh my God. Oh, I need that. Oh,
I'll
that's
send you the
great.
link. I'll send you the link. And then
Oh,
the one
please.
I wore at the beginning is for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
That's going to be the one I wear because,
all right. Well,
I have to.
of course.
Yeah. So the theme, it's just to theme it up a little bit.
You know, every time I walk the dog and I walk by the Full House house, I always think of you.
Oh, that's
It's
the
like-
nicest thing anybody's ever said to me.
You know, that's like a block and a half away from my house.
I took pictures in front of it when I
I
went to
know
San
you didn't come
Francisco.
visit me.
I should have come visit you. I know.
Next time.
I felt bad because there's people who live there, and I was just like, let me take selfies in front of this house.
Oh God, everybody does.
But
it.
I'm sure they're used to it. Yeah.
Oh, there's so many people out there already.
is there anyone who's not predicting Nomadland for adapted screenplay?
I am.
Oh boy.
I'm picking the
Okay.
father.
I'm very torn.
Me too.
I'm
Very.
Yeah.
I'm throwing down the gauntlet. I'm picking the father.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm torn between Nomadland and The Father. And what I started sort of like reading when I was doing a little bit of research is that a lot of people are pointing out the fact that, well, how much of Nomadland is actually scripted, and the fact that The Father was such a successful play, and this is probably the closest it's going to get to actually winning anything. It's here. So I'm going to go with The Father.
Yeah.
So that's 2 for the father, and everyone else is Nomadland.
Yes.
Yes.
But I think it's a good race though.
Yeah, it's
I think it's
not-
an extremely good race because The Father also got into the 2 categories that it actually deserves to win, which are film editing and production design, which are integral to the success of that movie, like from the ground up. And I think there is an interesting conflation between screenplay and editing and how something is structured. And although obviously the film editing helps the audience understand the mindset of Anthony Hopkins so that you can watch and feel his kind of confusion and degeneration, that's still written in the screenplay first. And I think that has to have some weight. With Nomadland, the character of Fern is entirely created.
Right.
Because in the book, it's entirely Linda May.
Mm-hmm.
But to Rob's point, there is an element of not really being able to figure out or identify if they're doing scripted dialogue or if they're just talking and getting caught on camera for it, which I think there's a certain disadvantage to. But as the best picture frontrunner, I'm going with Nomadland for now. But the father winning would not surprise me at all.
Yeah, it's a good call. I mean, it's a tough one, but yeah. I mean, I just went on the whole. It feels like that movie, because it was so late breaking and everybody was and I used to joke, it's like, does that movie really even exist? And then it came out.
Everybody did.
And then it's once it came out and people were seeing it, they really embraced it and loved it. And so that's kind of where I'm kind of falling. Plus, there's more obviously. Screenplay winners tend to have films that win tend to have much more dialogue, as opposed to, Nomadland doesn't have like tons and tons of dialogue. So, and that's no ding on it, but I just think either Nomadland's gonna win just based on a huge sweep, or they're gonna give the father something, because there's been a trend where they kind of spread the wealth. So that's where I'm kind of seeing it. They want to give it something.
And because both films were not eligible at Writers Guild,
right?
The only time that they have competed against each other were Critics' Choice, where Nomadland won, and then BAFTA, where the father won, and then the Golden Globes, where they both lost.
Right.
So it's, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. All right.
It's a race. That's gonna be a good one. Original screenplay is Promising Young Woman. Is anyone predicting Sorkin to take it?
I'm predicting Minari.
Oh wow.
Whoa. Okay, why? Why?
It's, I think, the most relatable story, and it makes sense with the rest of my predictions.
Okay.
That they would want to. I think there's enough momentum.
I know why.
Shut up. There's enough momentum behind it that they will probably consider voting for it in more than one category.
Because Minari has to win something, and you're not predicting it to win supporting actress.
Well, she is the front runner.
Moving on.
I see Promising Woman. I throw that in there with like Sideways and Her and The Crying Game and Pulp Fiction. These like films that were these independent films that were very kind of on the cool side, that were very buzzed about, very talked about, very, I don't want to say controversial, but divisive in some ways. So that's where I kind of throw Promising Young Woman into that, because original screenplay in Get Out, I mean, has been, for other than Green Book, I mean, they've been really awarding some of the really cool films, the really original cool films. So that's why
I don't know the appeal that Promising Young Woman has for like the big chunk of older white voters that are probably very conservative, and I don't know that that's gonna necessarily hurt it, but I don't know that people are considering also that that's maybe a factor.
Totally.
even though I tweeted what I tweeted out about talking to Oscar voters earlier today, one of the across the board anecdotal things that has come out is that Promising Young Woman has been extremely popular with older white male voters, which was a really big shock, shock, because Focus Features thought that that was going to be the hardest thing for them to get through, and it ended up not being that way. I think there's a few reasons why that happened. But I think the screenplay is such a perfect, it sits perfectly with the type of screenplays that win this. And aren't going to win Best Picture, but we want to give the most aggressively original and unique screenplay the win, Green Book aside.
Right.
My favorite.
I agree.
Fucking
Green
love that
Book.
movie.
Not great.
Lies. It's on record now.
It's on
Green Book is Rachel's favorite movie.
It's on tape.
Promising Young Woman was my favorite movie. That's what it is.
So now let's move on to a very easy category. Best Supporting Actor,
Oh my God.
Daniel Kaluuya. Yes.
Yes.
I can't wait for this win.
It's his year.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, Kaluuya.
There you go.
When he got in, I can't remember when he got nominated for Get Out, and we played our little "Who's going to come back and get another nomination" game. Did people have him pegged as a winner within like 5 years?
Well, he has so much against him. It's just historically, if you're not white, then the odds are stacked against you. So good for him. He is not supporting, and it's blatant category fraud.
Neither is Lakeith.
And it's neither is Lakeith. And this is like the third, fourth year in a row that this has happened, which makes this category sort of meaningless at this point. But that's how the cookie crumbles, and he's winning.
Right. Well, it was funny when you're talking about the whole category fraud. I finally, for the first time, watched Judgment in Nuremberg. I had never seen that before, and it was on TCM over the weekend. I watched it, and it was funny because Montgomery Clift and Judy Garland were nominated in the supporting category.
Mm-hmm.
Probably between the two of them, they probably equaled maybe 15 minutes of that between both performances. And it was funny. It was like, that's when they were actually nominated supporting performances as opposed to what they're doing now. So anyway, I thought that was
but those were also high profile actors doing essentially cameos.
Right.
And that was like bait.
But there was a lot of that. Even up through the 70s, there was a lot of these. I mean, I'm thinking of like Jason Robards and Julia and Beatty and Network. I mean, there was a lot more.
Straight.
And Be Extra Straight, of course. But there was so much of that, you know. I mean, back.
It has become Best Actor in a co-lead role, and it's damaging to what the category should actually accomplish, which is highlight smaller roles and, more often than not, actors that are not as well known. So
it definitely used to be a lot better. I think the biggest example of it not would be like Patricia Neal for HUD, maybe is the closest category fraud from that era. But this is a relatively new thing, like within the last 20 years.
Right, and there was the occasional Tatum O'Neal and Timothy Hutton, but for the most part, they were,
which was more age based.
Right, and those were age based, but they're generally, most of them were generally, supporting performances and a lot of character actors. Right.
Well, it's what happened with David Niven with Separate Tables too. A lot of the time is just based on name recognition, and had this been a situation where that's sort of like the same, a similar movie structure in the same way, Kaluuya's role was played by somebody white, they would have campaigned him probably for lead. So there's that.
John put his predictions into the chat before he left, and surprise, surprise, he has Kaluuya in this category.
I'll still say, and I will say it every year for like I don't even know how many years to come. I think Lakeith Stanfield's nomination here is one of the wildest and coolest ever, ever, ever. I don't care what the category. It's a fucking great nomination.
It was actually a relatively shock-free morning considering the world that we live in, but that was the wallop to wake us all up.
Right.
And because they went alphabetical, it was the last, and we were just like,
right. And I thought it was going to be
what is
I thought it was going to be Strathern, and I was like, oh crap! Well, I should have picked him, and it was like, oh god, really?
For some reason, I was like Strathern or Glenn Turman. I was like, there is going to be at the end of the alphabet.
Yeah.
Because we were lucky and we did not get Jared Leto because thank you.
They hated Leto so much that they picked someone who was being campaigned in lead. I love it.
It's the coolest thing.
And I love Lakeith's response on social media.
Yeah.
Well, was it something I don't get it either or something? Yeah.
Yeah, his social media since then has been pretty fucking funny.
It was great. That's why it's totally like no matter how much time we spend on these things, there are some things that you just cannot predict. Like there's no way that anyone could have predicted that confluence of circumstances that led to him getting.
Which is why I want to depose the entire acting branch and force them by subpoena to ask them how and why they got to that vote. I think it should be mandated under U.S. law, and that's
sworn affidavits. Yeah.
Oh, I want the actress.
I want to know
for this year too. When they're over.
I wish the ballots were like made available like after everything is said and done, because it's ridiculous even for those of us that have the movie overperforming. Nobody even thought that this could happen.
Cesco and I were,
and then that this would happen in supporting. It's really, really something. It's like some kind of concerted effort that must have happened. Well, people were like texting each other or something like that, like
that's
calling and texting. Yeah,
there's collusion here. Something
there has to be something. There has to be something that made
why would you not only put Lakeith Stanfield,
but in the same category as Kaluuya? Yeah.
Why? How did this happen? I want to know.
And not put them both in lead. Bizarre. Like if you love the movie, just vote for them both in lead. If you want to nominate both of them.
Yeah.
He probably got a chunk of votes in lead too.
Oh no, they both, I'm sure, did.
Yeah. So that probably helped, but it is beyond what my brain can understand. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not Keisha Castle Hughes here.
No.
This is entirely different.
No. Keisha was always on the radar. Yeah.
She had the Julia Roberts party and
yeah.
She had us.
I don't know. It's not Kate Winslet either.
No.
Which was also crazy, but
yeah.
Especially that moment in time before they announced actress where we only knew the supporting actress nominees and we thought she just flat out missed. For like
that was a good 5 minutes.
5 minutes of bliss.
Oh, poor Kate.
Oh my god.
Well, we can move on to another easy category, and that's Best Director, which is Chloe Zhao.
Yes.
Yeah.
David
so
Fincher.
Excited.
I can't wait.
Excited for her.
Yeah, Chloe Zhao. BRB.
Yep.
It's gonna be a great
at least Erik is wearing pants. I was like, this is the Zoom life. You can't just get up in the middle of the Zoom and leave. We don't know.
It's probably the most locked in category of all of them. Maybe alongside Soul, probably for animated, but she's getting probably 40% of the entire votes. Something like that.
With Soul, you can point to, Wolfwalkers is number 2. Who the fuck is number 2 in director? I could see an argument for quite a few of them, and it's just
for all of them. Yeah. Yeah.
But no one else has won anything. So
There's no question that she is. Yeah, I think she's getting votes even from people that were not voting for Nomadland in picture. So it is really one of those instances where it's really about her achievement and her craft that's being recognized separate from the movie. Yeah.
Eric, we were saying that we're glad you were wearing something like pants and shorts. We were like, it's the Zoom life. You can't just get up in the middle of the Zoom.
It's really funny because I wasn't even thinking about what I was wearing, and it could have been really suspect.
So my dad has now finished all of the Best Picture nominees because he watched The Father last night. And Nomadland is the one that he totally didn't get at all. He said he's going to rewatch it before Sunday to see if now he can get the hype.
Wow.
But his favorite is Promising Young Woman. So that feeds into the whole like older white man straight cis.
Well, your dad is gay, so.
He's not gay. He just likes musicals.
Exactly.
He's not gay.
We've been around this carousel before.
He just raised me. That's all.
That in and of itself is homosexual.
It is.
But I'm wondering.
It's in the bylaws, though.
I wonder if my dad would still, if he had a hypothetical ballot, if he would still vote for Zhao, even if he didn't like Nomadland, just for the moment of it all.
Probably not.
I don't know. I'll have to ask him. He said he's happy for her that she's going to win.
If you flat out dislike the movie, then no. Yeah.
He said he thought that it was boring and the same thing over and over again.
Well, Alfonso Cuarón won, and people said that about Roma. So
right, they said it was about a woman just mopping the floor all day
and boring. And I mean, those people, I don't have any time for them. But yeah,
we were just saying that Chloe is in directing is like one of the biggest locks of the night because we don't even know who's in second.
Right.
It doesn't matter who's in second because there is no second place here.
Exactly.
That's
the best part.
And we're thinking that Bong Joon-ho is going to be the presenter for Best Director because he was on the list.
He's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he going to be presenting director with his cute little interpreter?
Sharon.
He's doing it. Yeah. He was.
Well, they hadn't. I'm assuming he's presenting director. It just listed who so far. Obviously, you know that the 4 winners from last year are going to come back, but
yeah, they don't normally do director and picture the way that they do the acting.
No, it's never rare unless it's like some high profile director. Like even I was surprised that what's his name, the guy that Inarritu did not present director after winning 2 years in a row. I was surprised that they didn't invite him, but
it's just not something they normally do ever.
Yeah, I know.
They don't care about directors. They only really care about actors.
Right. Yeah. They've had like Spielberg and.
Well, that's different.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or somebody like didn't Kevin Costner present.
Spielberg has the star power of like.
Right.
Brad Pitt.
But Kevin Costner presented director the year after he won.
Yeah, but he's still an actor first.
Yeah.
It's just curious how they pick and choose.
I'm not a big fan of presenters that are chosen by the Academy based on what they think is going to win. I think it's super creepy, and I think it's generally really awful.
You mean Spielberg, Coppola, and Lucas presenting?
That is by far one of my least favorite of all time. And it made me want Scorsese to lose.
The worst one was Glenn Close and Michael Douglas announcing supporting actress the year of Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
And Archer was nominated, and then Olivia Dukakis won.
I just rewatched that a couple days ago.
It was horrible. Yeah.
Well, I don't know why
did they
do
present
that.
supporting actress?
That was I think the last year that they didn't always have like
the 80s were weird when they never really went that tradition because that year that Glenn Close and Michael Douglas presented supporting actress, Cher and Nicolas Cage presented supporting actor, and Gardenia was nominated, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
obviously, what's his name? Connery ended up winning. So they were not tradition in that way.
It happened for a long time to have like a couple of actors present the supporting categories.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then they started bringing in the previous year's winner,
Right.
but it's just like just pick two people that are not connected to any of the nominees because that's really
I
awkward.
mean, how fucking hard is it?
It's the same
it's
thing
not.
they do for foreign film when they like bring in
Sophia
someone
Loren or Penelope Cruz.
how awkward would it be if then like Almodovar doesn't win?
You mean when
It's
Julia
just-
Roberts presented Ang Lee the director award at the Golden Globes when she was totally expecting Soderbergh to win?
I want Selma Hayek to present an award that she's super disappointed in. That'll make me really happy.
All right.
She
our
should
next
just host
category-
the whole thing.
Yes, she should.
Thank
Our
you.
host is trying to get us back in order.
Yeah.
Lead actor,
Salma Hayek and Monique.
which I think
Like
is
just bring the two of them.
for lead actor. I think most of us are predicting Bozeman, who went off their rockers going with Hopkins.
Yeah, it's closer probably than. I mean, if you're looking at the goddamn secret ballots that are coming out, nobody has voted for Bozeman yet. I think. Does that represent a viable sample? No. Does it bear any relevance? No. But I mean, there are people that are definitely going to vote for Hopkins.
Yeah.
And there are people that are basically saying that I think the narrative of what happened with Bozeman isn't enough to make up for the performance. I think he's going to win, though. Yeah.
So we're all
It's too much of a moment to pass on.
Bozeman, yeah.
I have
Hold on,
Bozeman,
hold on.
and John, I should mention, had Zhao for the last category and has Bozeman for this category.
Okay.
Yeah, despite the BAFTA loss, this should still be Bozeman.
So now we come to a very heavily invested category, which is Best Supporting Actress.
I have to go.
So Matt, who are you predicting here?
Yu Jung-yoon for Minari.
Rob,
Same.
Rachel,
Same.
Eric,
Yu Jun-young.
me too.
You
Cesco,
all suck. If you think I'm not predicting one choice, you are out of your goddamn mind.
Would it be
I'd be
easier for you
probably
to-
predicting her even if she wasn't nominated.
You're picking,
So,
Hey,
you're picking
if you
Bakalova?
really think any other name is gonna come out of my mouth at this point in time tonight, you are insane.
She's looking right at Cesco now. She's like, good boy.
Look how happy she is.
Would it be easier for you if you did not predict her? So then if she did somehow win, it would just make your night?
No, I predicted her the year that she was supposed to win and then she fucking lost. So I'm gonna predict her the year that someone else is the front runner and maybe she wins. And fuck all of you.
I did the same. I predicted her for the wife. That was
Absolutely. That was an
Everybody
easy call
did.
to predict her for the wife. It was supposedly an easy call, I should say.
Yep. I'll say this. I think she's still number 2.
I agree.
She is.
I agree.
I
It is
agree.
between the two of them.
I think
I
she's
agree.
too.
Well, it's not
It's funny. I was just I was going through after Cesco sent his FYC piece to me. I was looking, for a good photo of her for it, and I was telling him the Netflix press site is miserable for Hillbilly Elegy. There are only 8 pictures, and the only 2 that are of close by herself are the ones that everybody's already used and seen 1,000 times. So I went through the movie again and all of her scenes. And even though I already liked the movie much better than other people, with the myriad of issues that I have with it,
Right.
she is still so solid. She is so good. So I was just going through all of her scenes and finding things that I could screenshot for it. And she's just she's fucking good. She's so committed no matter what she's doing. And I think it's the thing that keeps getting her nominated. She's 100%
No, she's
in
great in
whatever
it.
she is doing.
She's an incredibly skilled actress, and to be able to, you know, other actresses in a film that was not that great who could have tried to do that, I think, you know, kind of borderline on, you know, Granny Clampett, you know, and I think that that was where she did a great job of really, you know, commit, like you said, committing to the role, making it credible, without making it look silly, or like I said, grandma, you know, Granny Clampett from the Beverly Hillbillies, which a lesser skilled actress may have not, considering that that movie was not that great, could have been a real bad performance. And she
But enough
stands
about
out.
Meryl Streep.
But yeah, I mean, that's what she's got, is that great performance in a not so great film, which really highlighted her performance. And it wasn't just a, you know, her in a wig, you know.
She will always have the respect of her peers, and she will always give 100% in what she does. And I always get really chuffed when people are like, oh, what, you know, Oscar bait project is Glenn Close going to pick next? And I don't think that's how she chooses what she does at
Which
all.
is funny. Which is funny, because when I see her films, I don't think Oscar baity. I don't really think about that she said, okay, well, I'm going to pick this role because, you know,
she just wants to do something different than she did before.
Right. And so she looks at something that's challenging, all that. So I don't see her, I don't see her as that type of actress that has that. I'm only going to go for roles that's going to get me.
I mean, Bjorn Runge calls you up on the phone and tells you want to be in my movie. You don't go, oh, I'm going to win an Oscar for this. Yes.
Right.
Like, yeah, you go with, oh, it's a great role. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you be sad if
Yes.
somebody else
Yes.
takes the prize?
What kind of question is that?
But it's also, at least she's losing to somebody that you love, probably.
She is. Well, she is. I would say that the other person that's in contention for this is not my number 2. She's my number 3.
Okay.
Who's your number 2?
Coleman.
I thought you couldn't even say her name out loud.
It's not her fault that they picked the wrong person.
I'd like to say, if anyone out there has not read Cesco's piece on Erik's website, please do read it. It is beautiful.
It's great.
Yeah,
I read it.
It really is.
I actually read it twice, so very good.
And that's, you know, I only have 3 FYC pieces up, and you know, I worked with each person in what they wanted to do and what the tone was going to be, because what I did not want was, this shouldn't win, blah blah blah. I wanted to hear the passion from that person of why this should be considered, and I love what Cesco did. So I love that it's there.
And now we come to Best Picture. Because we have another category we're saving for later.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, this is so gay.
I'm predicting Nomadland. Rachel?
Oh yeah, me too.
I am predicting Nomadland.
Cesco?
So I am too, but not like 100% convinced. But I would say that it's out front, and it's probably going to win.
Rob?
Yeah, I'm also predicting Nomadland, and similar feelings to how Cesco feels a little bit. Not 100%, but it seems like the logical choice, and well deserved. But it's going to be a different winner for Best Picture, just because of the tone of the film and the subject matter, and But I think it'll be well deserved. But I think there's a little bit of hesitancy, but yeah, right now
What's
definitely.
your number 2 then?
Number 2, it's actually Minari is my number
Me
2.
too. Yeah.
Matt
Nomadland.
and Eric, I'm assuming the shirt says it all.
And John.
Well, this is what I want to win. It was my number 1 film of the year, but I can't let that be the decision for me. I do think it's winning. I do think there are things in that could happen to upset it. We were talking earlier about film editing. I don't think that's the thing that would upset it. If Trial wins original screenplay over Promising Young Woman, I would be really nervous. If Nomadland also loses to The Father, I'd be extremely nervous at that point. At that point, I would see the tide turning in a like 2016 election kind of way. But here's the thing, and people are, especially, that do what I do, and as we get this close, they're trying to create the horse race and the narrative that requires their existence. A horse race is needed in Best Picture for any website that does Oscar related stuff, and if it's not there, you have to kind of create the narrative yourself. So we are seeing a whole bunch this week from whatever it is, Gold Derby, Variety, any of those places that are like, well, wait a minute, here's how Trial could win. And they're only doing that for click value. They're not doing it because it's a real reality kind of thing. I just read the Gold Derby one earlier, like today, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't really track. It doesn't make sense, but it's required to create a narrative of a race. In a normal year, and this obviously is not a normal year, if there was going to be an upset, Trial would have already been the front runner, and Nomadland would be the upset. That would be the Moonlight. That would be the movie that comes in without winning anything, but then wins Best Picture. We're not going to see the reverse happen. And I don't know how, when I say that, I have to be really clear. I don't mean that we aren't, as in it's an impossibility. Trial could win, but it needs to hit a bunch of other things in order for that to happen. And since, based on what we talked about for the last hour and a half, we don't think that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It might be close. It might be number 2, but I don't see it. I don't see it happening. We're already at a place for Nomadland that is different and exceptional. And you can say 1917 and Brokeback Mountain and all that, all you want. Although once I finally write my Best Picture piece in a couple of days, I will probably hark back to Crash and Brokeback, and you look at SAG and look at editing and look at the possibilities, because I look at things as realistically as possible, not just my own feelings, but I think if Trial was going to be there, it would have already been there.
Yeah, and I think if Sorkin would have gotten into director, I think there would have been a little bit more. But I really think that hurts it a lot, and that it just really didn't. I mean, I see where you're saying as far as the Brokeback Mountain and Crash kind of thing, but yeah, I just, yeah, I think that ship has sailed as far as Chicago's concerned.
It's a Netflix movie, and I feel that when Netflix wins Best Picture, it won't be for such a tepid award like response this whole way through, and it would seem very like, yeah, that was the movie that did it, and the fact that it's not really a Netflix movie because it was originally
Paramount, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think if there was not the delayed that we had, stretching it out two extra months, I think it would have had a better chance. But with all these other films like Nomadland really and Minari and a lot of these other films getting much more, and Father coming in, a lot more exposure and a lot more talking and stretching out the award season, I think that also did not help Chicago.
Well, they also released it in October.
Right. So yeah, exactly. But that's what I was saying. If the awards was shortened, if the period was shortened 2 months, I mean, that's a big. It's like people say election. You know, as you made the election analogy. You know, a month is a lifetime. You know, for people to change their mind, get fickle, think about it different. You know, change their mind. Current events that are happening in the world where maybe they're like, hey, this, being able to relate or not relate to a certain film subject matter is I think is a big deal. And I think that potentially, may have hurt Brokeback Mountain because of the Winter Olympics that stretched the Oscars an extra month. So people got to see Crash that was on home video already. So again, there's I think time is definitely the enemy for some of these films.
I think so too. And Oscar voting is only 5 days long. We're recording this on the 19th.
Yeah.
Right.
It's wild.
So it ends tomorrow. It's only 5 days long.
Which is
SAG was a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're basically saying if you haven't seen this shit already, if you hadn't made up your mind by now,
Yeah, I think that's kind of how they treat it.
Yeah.
Which is too bad because I think if they opened voting right after nominations.
Why didn't they? I don't get it.
I think it'd be great. There's no reason to do this 5-day window.
Right.
You're getting less votes. I think that's what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, they will get more votes.
Yeah, I don't know what the rationale behind it was.
Not that they tell us how many votes they get, but still.
Right.
Yeah.
Rachel's letting us know that it's time to move on to the final.
Oh, okay. To the finale.
I think I need like another though.
We left Best Lead Actress to the end because truly, who knows?
This is painful.
I was jokingly telling Rachel, like, I could predict Britney Spears in the Lucky video, and like, why not? Like,
I think we can all say it's probably not going to be Vanessa Kirby. I think we can all pretty much.
She is the only one of the 5 that doesn't really have a shot.
Right. So we're all pretty much like, she's out of it. The nomination.
Imagine in a year where things are so wide open, you still are the one that doesn't really
oh my God.
factor in the race at all.
I know. You're just there for the free drinks and hors d'oeuvres.
I really wish you would have won BAFTA, because then it would have presented a perfect scenario where the other one who didn't win would have won this one. It would have made more sense.
Yeah, I would have loved to see a Kirby BAFTA win and then like a McDormand Oscar win, just to have like fully 5 different winners. But we're gonna see somebody get something else.
Somebody's gonna get double. Oh God.
Viola Davis, he did share that before he left.
Okay.
So there's that. Matt, who are you predicting?
I've gone back and forth, but I'm right now sticking with Viola Davis.
Rob, who are you predicting?
Shit. So I have 2 here. So I went. I'm gonna probably be dead wrong. I'm gonna say Carey Mulligan.
Rachel.
I'm probably dead wrong.
No, like I can make an argument for Mulligan. I can make an argument for McDormand. I can make an argument for Davis. I can make an argument for Day. I can't really make an argument for Kirby, but if she wins, then my argument will be that the other 4 just were exactly equal. I don't know. I just watched United States versus Billie Holiday yesterday.
Sorry.
It was a
movie.
It was a movie.
What did you think of her? I mean,
she's the only good part of the movie.
Exactly. Right.
Like she's really good in it. I get the hype and everything. Lee Daniels just did like Precious, and then like everything else like went out.
He gets in his own way far as a director.
Yeah. I mean, she's very good. For some reason, I'm just feeling like in a lot of other years, an actress can win for like the only nomination for their film, but I feel like this lineup is too strong, especially when there's two actresses nominated for Best Picture nominees, and Davis is nominated for not a Best Picture nominee, but does have a bunch of other nominations and is of legend status herself. I just feel like, I don't know. I have Day in fourth right now in my brain. But I could still see her winning. Like that doesn't eliminate her from the conversation.
Right.
Erik, you're agreeing?
Yes.
Like fourth, but not fourth and can't win. Just I just have to place
One,
them.
2, 3, and 4 are not a measure of like success even.
Right.
Right.
Because it's like this.
Right.
Yeah, it's a gnat's ass basically.
And I mean, she's a playing a real person. They love that.
Doing her own singing.
Doing her own singing. They love that. Singer turned actress. That's all fine with them. They're on board. My hang up with Davis is strictly that the movie without a Best Picture nomination should not be strong enough to carry 2 lead wins. Other than that, I mean, Viola can really bunk all statistics because of her stature in the industry, but I feel like she is a little bit over rewarded by SAG. Like SAG might just be an outlier where they like her. They just happen, they have all, for all the right reasons, they love her. So that left me with Mulligan and McDormand, and I had been a McDormand naysayer for this whole year because 3 is not the same as getting 2. 3 is different. We waited 30 years to give Streep 3,
and not 3 leads.
and not 3 leads.
So she'll be Daniel Day-Lewis, Katharine Hepburn.
Right.
Yep.
3 lead is a big deal, and she just won the second one. If she hadn't won a couple of years ago, this would be like McDormand in a cakewalk, I think.
Yeah.
But she won it so recently. And then Mulligan, the movie's so strong. It's it's a top 5, but like, why did she not win anything else except for the Critics' Choice?
Yeah, that's the one that's why I was kind of struggling with, because I actually have McDormand in second myself.
Yeah.
So I think she would be the one if that would end up winning if it's not Mulligan or Davis, and I'm not sold on Davis, although I liked her in it. I'm not sold that's enough to get her to win.
I might personally pick Davis as like 4th or 5th in this, preference wise, but I cannot discount her power in this industry and what it would mean for her to win. Obviously, not only as the second Black actress winner in this category ever in 93 years, but a dark-skinned Black actress, which I think is a really big component in all of the conversations about people of color that are had with awards and with Oscars and with anything else, because colorism is a factor in all parts of life, whether it's awards or getting a job or getting pulled over by the police.
Or whether you're going to be out picking cotton or in the plantation,
or in the house.
Right.
Absolutely. I say none of that without being sensitive to that. But it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. I said on the podcast that I did with the Oscar expert, Viola Davis is the Viola Davis of acting. She is the bar. She is not the bar that she's not trying to reach one. She is the bar. Andrew Day is wonderful. She's great. Her movie probably should have gotten like costumes, makeup, production design, all of which I thought were really outstanding in the film. The rest of the film is garbage. And if you can make it past the first couple of minutes with Leslie Jordan in that wig, then bless
Icon.
Man,
But yeah, I mean, still, I mean, that's
that.
me in like 2 years, but still, whatever. Kirby is incredible, and it's a Emily Watson breaking the waves kind of like this.
Yeah.
You have to nominate this performance because this is a one take, powerful, emotional thing. McDormand, I think, does something that is both familiar and completely unique for her. Nathaniel Rogers said that she was very much the Katharine Hepburn of this generation, not even because of Oscars, but because of choices and how she regards awards and shows and all of that. And I thought that was absolutely flawless. I think what Carey Mulligan does is unlike anybody in this group, and it's unlike anything that she's done. She's in a movie that is Best Picture and Best Director nominated, probably going to win original screenplay. She is in a powerful position. And then there's Davis, who's in a film that's not Best Picture nominated, but is probably going to win 3, maybe 4 of its 5 Oscars. That's unheard of. When you're not Best Picture nominated even in just this preferential ballot era, it's unheard of. You can win 2, but no film has won 3 or more in decades. So everybody has something for them and something against them in a certain way. I think I'm going to stick with Davis. I think her power is there. I think the impact of the Screen Actors Guild, which we're going to look exactly 4 for 4 based on, I guess, my predictions. The power of having people of color as the winners for all 4 categories for the first time ever, which would happen then at the Oscars, might be too strong of a narrative and a pull to avoid. Not simply because of deserving or because of value, but because of what it represents. And every single year, and I will say this every year represents its own year. This is not what it's going to look like in 2022 at all. This is going to be a very different Oscars in a year from now. I think this is what it looks like now.
Yeah, no. Yep.
So that's 3 for Viola. Rachel, did you end up making up your mind?
No way. What's your pick? Wait, I know your
What's
pick.
your pick?
Cesco?
Okay, so all things equal, which is exactly where we're at with these 4 women, my instinct is to go with what the Academy knows best and tends to do, which is reward the sort of like younger, upcoming kind of actress that's white and pretty and has the sort of like star quality and star turn. And I think that Carey Mulligan is going to win in the footsteps of Jennifer Lawrence, Emma Stone,
Natalie Portman,
Hilary
Portman, and
Swank.
so on. It is what they know. It is what they tend to do, even in years where it's not this confusing. I feel like it's a situation where they're going to stick with what they know. And she definitely did work good enough to deserve to win on top of that. So she is my pick.
I'm predicting Frances McDormand to sweep the Nomadland. So
yeah, you've got Nomadland for all 6 wins.
Damn.
I want that to happen.
I said way long time ago to Rachel offline that I could see a scenario where Frances just waits the whole entire season and just at the very end finally just takes it. And that was before the fucking mess that we had this year. with so many different winners. Because I was just assuming that it would flip flop between Carrie and Viola the whole year, and then just Frances would sweep in there like at the very, very end due to the groundswell support for the movie. So the fact that this race got even more messy, like, just keeps proving why I think she's gonna do it. And I'm probably gonna be wrong, but there's something about Frances winning a third one and technically a fourth one.
No, she's gonna win a producing Oscar, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That I think is gonna be like just like super impressive. And I haven't always been a huge fan of her, but like after watching the film, I went back and like reflected on her previous performances, and she's just so fucking good. Like, like yeah, like the North Country nomination was probably bullshit, but
she's good in that.
She's good at
anything that she like
It's fine. It's afterglow-ish, but yeah.
So I think Viola's second. I don't think Carrie is the. She should have won something else by now, and it didn't make sense that she lost the Globe. It didn't make sense that she wasn't nominated at BAFTA. Like, I just don't see it. I will not be mad if she wins. I think this is like, I wouldn't be mad if Kirby won. Like, it'd be fucking hilarious because like the craziness of it all. But she gave a really great performance, and so
oh yeah,
I'm excited by how this race has been. I can't wait to see who wins. Rachel, have you decided?
I mean, I reserve the right to change my mind, but I guess if there's ever a time to just choose who your personal favorite is and who you want to win, now is the moment, because there's really nobody knows. So Mulligan's my favorite of these five. So I guess I'll just stick with her for now. I don't feel confident. I'll probably change 100 times before Sunday, but I don't usually hope dick to anything. So I guess this would be the race to do it. But I wish that all acting races were like this every year. It's so much more fun than just being like last year, where it was just the same four winners for the entire season.
Half of me wishes there were no precursors at all and only the Oscars.
I know. It would be such a different ball game, because the other precursors, for the most part, this year may be the exception, but they just spend their time trying to accurately predict, and they don't actually necessarily pick what they genuinely like. This year, I feel like people gravitated more towards picking what they actually liked, and it made for a more interesting.
The precursors are interesting. I mean, I've been following this stuff a little bit longer than you guys, and remember when the Golden Globes were on a Sunday afternoon and only the television people showed up. But yeah, and there was no other. And if you look at like past winners from back end, all they won was the Oscar, maybe the Golden Globe, but usually there was none of this foregone conclusion like they have now. So it is kind of cool that at least one category is kind of up in the air, and everybody can kind of like have their arguments of why they think this person may or may not win. So I agree. I like it when there's some suspense and uncertainty to this.
And that's one of the best things, is that no matter what your prediction is, I mean, unless it's Kirby, you're not wrong. You're not crazy about it. And anyone that tries to tout themselves as a great predictor for getting this on Sunday is an absolute loser, because there is no right answer to this. You can't even reverse engineer this correctly once it's done, like you can with a lot of other categories. Like if Trial wins Best Picture, we can start working backwards and go, oh, okay, here's the steps that got there. You cannot do this with this category. Whoever wins is going to win purely on passion and narrative and nothing else. And you can't really calibrate that as a predictor. So that's what makes it so fun. And I'm super, oh my God, I'm freaking out.
I know. And this is going to be probably the second to the last category, right? Most likely.
Yeah.
I think it won't be because I think they're gonna leave the Bozeman moment for close to the end.
Maybe.
And the Zhao moment.
Well, I mean that I think
third. Well, it's funny because director. I remember director.
They've done it before, lead acting before.
Yeah.
But they've sometimes they used to have director. That order is always kind of skewed because I remember they've had director a little bit earlier than like the last like 3 categories or 4 categories.
Usually not. Usually it's either right before picture or right before lead actor, lead actress.
I feel that I feel like there was one year where director came relatively early. Like, oh shit, they're already giving out director. Why? So there's so many categories before that.
I think they're going to
definitely done it before the main 2 like leading acting categories. Yeah,
I think they're going to and I think they're going to wait till the end and give her like this Catherine Bigelow moment of picture and director.
Mm-hmm.
Deserved.
So we'll just hold on. Don't go back to your seat. You got another one.
I did this in under 2 hours.
Yeah, look at this. Less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Nice.
For 23 categories.
It's so late here, guys.
All right, for you East Coasters, I know it's late.
It's sleepy times.
I want to thank all of you for being here, and I'm so excited that we get to experience a year like this. And I'm super excited to see what Soderbergh and other producers have in store for us on Sunday.
I'm really excited for what they have. I'm really into the whole trying to present the Oscars as a movie, shooting it on film, shooting it at the Union Station while the trains are still running. I think there is something going on here that is going to be, at least for, a fervent Oscar viewer, something super unique and super cool. Yeah. And I don't give a fuck about the ratings and the people that are be like, nobody watches the Oscars and they shouldn't have them. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you.
That's for us.
Right. So it was interesting. I was starting to set up the DVRs already to start to record. For us Oscar nerds, shit starts at 10 o'clock. They are already to cover whatever like specials or something already at 10 a.m. all the way to, I don't know, like midnight. They have all these different things that are going on. So it's starting at 10. Actually, a lot of specials or whatever they're doing, it's starting very early. So
yeah,
I'm good. I know what I'm going to be doing all day Sunday. And good thing it may actually rain. So
yes, it's supposed to rain up here.
It's supposed to rain on Sunday, which is a trip.
It's blowing my mind. And then I had to like look really quick at the LA weather. And I'm like, this would be so funny if they waited 2 months and then it rained on the Oscars.
I know. It hasn't rained in a while, and so we're going to get potentially rain on Sunday.
It's not going to rain. It's like 70s.
Yeah.
And whatever.
So just FYI for you folks that if you want to just sit on, watch it all day, it starts at 10.
Yeah.
And then they have the 3:30 thing, which is the songs, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they're doing from the Academy Museum from the rooftop. Of the
right. And then they have
from Husavik.
But Husavik is going to be in Iceland.
In Iceland, right. And then they have that Oscar After Dark and then something else. So
yes, with Colm Domingo and Andrew Reynolds. I will
watch it. Yeah. So that's going to be good. So it's like 15 hours of Oscars.
That should be horny and drunk. So
if anyone out there is watching this on YouTube and you have other plans on Sunday, why?
Right. Exactly. There's
why. What else is there on Sunday?
We waited all this time, watched all these movies. So yeah, this is it.
We waited 2 months.
This season in particular needs to be over.
But yeah, it'll be
out of my misery.
There you go. So supporting actress will probably be presented one of the very first categories. So
supporting actor was first last year.
So they'll flip it to supporting actress this year.
If they go traditional, but I don't think anything's going to be traditional this year. It's going to be weird. And that's actually something that Soderbergh even said, is that the presentation of the categories and how they're doing the entire show is to try and keep interest the whole time so that they are not going to be doing this block of like text I think it's
Right.
going to be super,
I really-
super unlike anything we've ever seen.
I really hope there's a big celebration of the movies too, and there's a lot of. I mean, I always enjoy the clips and all that stuff, so hopefully there's some stuff in there.
I
Do
don't
not
mind it if
text
it's-
me either way because I'll either be crying or blacked out.
I don't have your
So,
number. I don't have your number.
Just
Otherwise,
do
I
not
would.
text until like the morning after.
Okay. Well, we'll have you guys. We'll have somebody check on you.
I'll just send a scheduled tweet.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right, guys. Thanks. Have a good night.